Hey, what's up? This is Santosh here. In today's video is going to be a tutorial on how you can become a successful graphic designer. There are two kinds of designers over here. I don't know which one you are. You might be somebody who is looking to become a professional graphic designer. Then you're going to find a lot of value out of this video, because this video is going to tell you what are the things that you got to do to become a successful professional designer. And the second kind of designer would be a entrepreneur or a business owner who doesn't have a lot of time, or even does not want to spend a lot of time, spend a lot of money into outsourcing their designs. This will also help you if you are an entrepreneur, because for entrepreneurs you will have to follow the same steps pretty much, but there will be a difference in the tools that you're going to use. Entrepreneurs can make their designing simpler. Not that a professional graphic designer cannot. You guys can also follow the same steps in case you want to create designs quicker compared to the more conventional complex design tools that we have. Design fundamentals or principles. Now, make a note of these things, because it's going to be super important for you if you are serious about creating great looking designs. Okay. Now, let's talk about design fundamentals or principle. This is the base or the foundation of your designing, and you have to get good at each of the elements that we are going to talk about, and you have to master the use of it. When you do that, you are going to use each of these elements correctly in your creative, which will make your designs look amazing. All right, so let's get to it. First one is colors. In designing, use of colors is such a powerful thing. Colors can bring out certain emotions out of people, and it can also influence people into making certain kind of decisions. So this is one of the elements that you need to good at. You need to understand what colors to use when, and what colors is suited for what kind of brand. So get good at this one design fundamental. I have created a detailed tutorial on color psychology as well. I'll leave the link in the description. If you're interested, you can watch it after the video. Number 2, font psychology. Types, typefaces and fonts. These are three different things. There is a video tutorial I have done on that as well. You'll find the link in the description. You can watch it later. Now, fonts, like colors, can also bring out emotions from people, and it can also influence you into buying decisions. That is why they use certain fonts in buttons and for purchases and things like that. You will find it all over e-com websites or any of these sites where they are selling products. Very, very powerful. There are different kinds of font categories as well. There is serif font, sans serif font, there is script fonts, there is display fonts. There are different kinds of fonts that you can use depending on what kind of design you are trying to create, or what kind of brand you are, or what kind of business you are in. So this is another critical design element that you need to get good at. And once you decide on a font for a brand, stick to it, because people are going to connect with your brand just looking at those fonts. Number 3, lines. Lines are one of the most basic design element, or you can also call it one of the building blocks of graphic design. Lines can be straight, it can be horizontal, it can be vertical, it can be diagonal, it can be curved, and it can lead your eyes to a certain direction in your design. It can be thick, it can be thin, it can be dotted, it can be any of these. Lines are amazing, and it can give personality to your design. So the use of line also becomes very, very important depending on what kind of design you're doing. Here are some examples of the usage of line. Have a look. Number 4, shapes. Shapes can be a circle, it can be a square, triangle, it can be a rectangle, it can be of any shape. Depending on where you're going to use this shape, you might be using it in, let's say, infographic, a flowchart, or your business presentations, or even in any of the design. Depending on what shapes you use, it can convey a certain kind of mood or emotion to the people who are watching it or who are looking at those design. So shapes are very powerful. So make use of it as well in your designs, and don't do it too much. Here are some of the examples. Have a look at it so that you can get an idea of how shapes are being used in different design. Have a look at it. Number 5 is contrast. Contrast is such a useful design element. In marketing, it is super useful. We are always trying to get the viewer's attention. It can be a YouTube thumbnail, it can be a social media post, it can be an ad, it can be anything. So what contrast does is, it is a way of getting the viewer's attention to a certain part in your design. It can be a text, it can be a shape, it can be any design element. You're making it pop out in the design, and that is where the viewer is going to look first. These are some of the examples for contrast. Wherever your eyes move first, or whatever it locks on, that is the concept of contrast. So this is something you got to get good at, and when you're good at it, you will be able to make amazing thumbnails and amazing social media posts. Number 6, spaces. Spaces are another important element in designing. There is negative space and there is positive space. These are two of the examples that you're looking at. In negative space, what happens is you are leaving a lot of empty spaces around the design so that the design also looks minimal, and you're also conveying precise information to the viewer. And in positive space, what is happening is you are adding a lot of elements in design, so you're not leaving any of the negative spaces, so you're filling up the negative spaces. These are the two different kinds of spaces that you can use in designing. I am a big fan of minimal designing, so you will see a lot of negative space in my design. It's a personal choice. I am an entrepreneur, so I tend to do this a lot so that I don't confuse my viewers. But if you are into creative things, or if your brand requires you to create designs which has a lot of positive spaces, then you can go ahead and do this. It all depends on what niche you're in and what business you're in, or what you're trying to do. Okay, so this is another useful fundamental of design. Make sure you get good at this as well. Number 7, background and textures. Depending on what design you are going to create, it can be a business card, it can be a social media post, it can be a business presentation. This becomes extremely important. What kind of background or texture that you're going to use. It can be a plain background, or it can be a certain kind of a texture that you're going to use as a background. What you're going to use is going to convey a certain kind of emotion. So these are some of the examples for textures and backgrounds. Have a look at it. Number 8 is balance. Balance is another important design fundamental. Balance is about distributing different elements in a certain way in your creative or in your design. There might be multiple elements that you might be using in your design. It can be a bold text, it can be a regular, smaller text. It can be a textured background, it can be shape. There are multiple things that you can use. Balance is all about creating harmony between all these elements in a design so that the design looks more stable and it's very, very easy on the viewer's eye. Number 9, understanding layers. Think about this. Think about an onion. It has different layers, right? Different layers of skin. So look at your creative similarly. It will also have different layers. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are in Canva. I'm a big fan of Canva because it helps me create designs quickly and on demand. So that is why I'm here. I'm going to let me create a design right now. I'll create a custom size, 1080 by 1080. Okay, and I'm going to show you what I mean by layers. Okay, so this is the base of any design. This is the background. So I can maybe change the background to black right now. And I am going to create my first design element, which is going to be my layer 1. It works the same way in any design tool that you use. Even in Photoshop, you have layers. Every element can be a layer and you can name it as well in Photoshop. Okay, so when I add this becomes my first layer. And let's say I'm going to add text now, like that. Layer 2, I'm going to call it. And now I add this. On top of it, you will see what's happening. Because this is layer 1, it's beneath layer 2. So this is on top of it. Now if I right click on it and do send to back, it goes back. So this layer goes behind, right? And this becomes the first layer and this becomes the second layer. Now when you're working with designs, you might have multiple elements, you might have more shapes of different colors, you may have let's say some more artwork, maybe a line like that, you know, these kind of things. Okay, all of these are different layers. You got to get good at understanding layers and how to use it. Number 10, alignment and using the rule of thirds. Alignment using rule of third is super useful, especially when you are starting designing. After a while, when you create more and more designs, you know, you tend to do this by default. You don't have to have a guide to follow. Let me show you the rule of third and how it can help you. Okay, here we are back in Canva. So let me create a new page. Now the rule of third is very, very simple. Let me draw a line. Okay, so this is a 1080 by 1080 pixel image or creative. Okay, so rule of third is this. Okay, you create these boxes before you start adding anything onto your design, and use these as a guide. Let's say you're going to add a picture. Okay, maybe something like this. I'll replace the background. Now you would also like to add some text on this picture. So what you can do is you have to double click on it and move the image over the line like that. Okay, so when you do this, you're getting these empty spaces over here where you can create, where you can add any text. Now because this image is more on the lighter side, I have to add a background like that. Not a background, I can say a layer on top of the image like that. I want my text to show, right? So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to reduce the transparency over here like that. Image is still visible. I have space for text, and let me lock this so that it doesn't move anywhere. And now I can add my text. Call this how to become a successful designer. All right, so I'm going to put it over here. I want this to pop out, right? You remember contrast, so that's what we are going to do right now, like that. I'm going to change this color to white, this one to maybe orange. Choose this. Okay, align it this way. It's center aligned, both of this right now, like that, and we are good. And once you're done with that, I'm going to remove these lines. It's not required. Delete. Send this layer back, and there we are. Now we have created a great looking post. All you have to do is to brand it, maybe add my logo like that. There we are. I can either keep it over here or maybe keep it over here, here, here. It's a design choice. I usually keep it somewhere over here or here. Okay, let's do it over here. That's about it. You see how simple that was? You can also use a line over here. It will look really great. I'll choose a line like that in between. Okay, and change the color to white. Amazing, right? So that's the beauty of rule of thirds. Use it as a guide when you are creating your designs. It can be any kind of design. It can be a rectangular creative, it can be a square creative. These are guidelines. So wherever the image has to be, just move it over the line, maybe the horizontal line on the left or maybe the horizontal line on the right, and then you'll get more empty spaces on if the image is on the right, you might get a lot of empty space on the left. So you can use text there. And the image will look clean, minimal, and beautiful. And it will send the information to the viewer correctly. That was tip number 1. I'm pretty sure you can add more into it. Every designer has their own way of building up the design foundation when they create designs. These are the design fundamentals which have been super useful to me as a designer, and I'm 100% sure it's going to be super useful to you as well. So make use of it. I hope you have made a note of it. If you have not, you can always go through the video again and make a note of all the 10 fundamentals that I spoke about. And if you want to add more, please feel free to use the comments and add more design elements or fundamentals you want to talk about. Okay, so let's move on to tip number 2. What are the design tools available for you? Like we discussed earlier, there are two kinds of designers. One is who's looking to become a professional designer. So you might be that, or you might be a entrepreneur. So we are going to discuss about the tools that is useful depending on who you are. So the tools which are useful for entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur and if you're looking to create designs, then this is the tool I recommend. I have been using it for a few years. I have used it to create my own designs, and I have also used on client projects as a designer because it has helped me create designs quickly and on demand, whatever I want for my marketing or for my branding. It's called Canva, and you will find the link below the description as well for if you would like to use Canva. It's 100% free. They do have a pro subscription, that is an option, and only if you want to subscribe. Okay. Otherwise, you can use Canva for free. It's free for lifetime. All right. So the link is in the description. And if you want to master Canva, then I also have a program called as Canva Designing Mastery, where I will help you master Canva. You looking to become a professional designer using Canva, or even if you are trying to learn Canva for your own business so that you can save time and money by creating your own designs and not outsourcing it, right? And if you're a professional designer, then these are the tools I recommend. I still use these tools, but not so much because Canva is there and I get to create designs pretty quickly using Canva. These tools are useful to me only when I have lots of time to spend, okay? Which is not a lot actually when you're running a business of yours. So, however, when you plan to become a professional designer, one tool that you must know is Adobe Illustrator. It is going to help you create different kinds of graphics from scratch. You can also, take a picture, trace images, and create vector graphics out of it and use it in your designs. That is one. And the second very important tool that you got to know is Photoshop. It is the tool out there used by most of the professional designers across the world, and it can do some amazing things. So this is another tool I highly recommend you learn if you want to get into professional designing. And number 3 is Adobe InDesigns. If you are getting into creating, let's say, brochures, catalogs, or business cards, letters, any of these print design kind of things, then Adobe InDesign is going to be super useful. It is going to combine your Illustrator and Photoshop in one place and help you create great looking designs. So these are the 3 tools I recommend if you want to get serious about professional designing. There are other tools as well. There are Corel Draw, there is Affinity Design, and many more, I'm pretty sure. I haven't used it, so I cannot talk about it much. These are the tools I have used, and I can assure you it is going to help you a lot. And if you're looking for free tools, there are free tools as well. If you're looking for a replacement for, let's say, Adobe Illustrator, there is a tool called as Inkscape, amazing vector graphic tool. You can use that, and it can be a replacement for Adobe Illustrator if you are on a budget or if you don't have the money to subscribe to the Adobe Illustrator subscription or the software. And same with Photoshop. If you're looking for a free replacement for Photoshop, there is a tool called as GIMP. It is open source software. You can download it. Both the links are in description. You can use that. And there is no hard and fast rule that you have to use Photoshop and you have to use Illustrator or anything like that. If you want to get into professional designing, Canva can also be super duper useful. Okay, so also sign up to Canva, and most of the designs there are created by professional designers across the world, and they have uploaded all those designs. So you will find ready-made templates, and you will be able to create designs quickly, which means you can take more projects, and it can give you an opportunity of earning more income through designing. Tip number 3, we spoke about design fundamentals, we spoke about what tools you use. The third tip is going to be how are you going to earn as a graphic designer, because to become successful you have to earn, right? So these are the different ways you can earn as a graphic designer. Number 1, freelance websites. Just go to Google and look for freelance websites. You will find a list of multiple websites you can go ahead and sign up to. And in these websites, all you have to do is set up your profile, make sure you do it right, and also add all the designs that you have created. If you haven't got any job and this is the first time you're going there, then create some designs using Canva or Photoshop or whatever tool you wish to use, and upload those designs in these portals, right? And there is bidding, there are contests, there are multiple things you can do depending on which freelance website you go to. So make use of this, and over a period of time you will be able to get projects and start your freelance career using one of these websites or all of the websites. Number 2, create a website of your own and build your own design portfolio there. If you're starting up, then create some designs using Canva or Photoshop and upload those designs over here. It doesn't have to be a job that you did for somebody. It can be any design that you have done for yourself or just out of passion you created design. If you think that design is good, just go ahead and upload it in your portfolio, and it's going to build your authority in the market. And make sure you run marketing campaigns, create brand awareness campaigns using Facebook or Google Ads. Google Ads will be more of buyer traffic. Let's talk about Facebook and Instagram. You can bring in more people into your websites and make them look at your website and also the design portfolio that you have. You can get offers here on designing. Number 3 would be create courses on designing. Once you get good at a certain software, let's say you get good at Canva, or let's say you get good at Photoshop or Illustrator or any software that you use, you can go ahead and create your own course and list your course in course platforms like Udemy, Coursera, Skillshare. You can also create your own learning management system in your website, or use something like Teachable and list your courses over there as well, and run traffic into it. Marketing becomes key. It's all about making people see what you have to offer, right? And if it is good, they will buy, and that is another way you can earn income. So those are the different ways I can think of, and it can be very useful to you. If you know something that is additional other than what I spoke about, make sure you use the comment section and let everybody know about it. It would be great. Tip number 4, avoid copyright infringement. Don't use images, videos and audios which you don't have copyright on, or you don't have a license to use. All right, there are multiple ways you can get non-copyright resources or even copyright resources with a license. All right, so do it right. In the description below, I have shared my personally curated design resources. You can download that PDF for free and use all the resources over there. They are all non-copyright and free to use, most of them, and some are paid depending on what you're trying to download or use. Okay, so make sure you download that. It's going to be super useful for you. So there is uncomplicated designing and there is complicated designing. So it all depends on what you are trying to become, whether you are trying to become a professional designer, whether you're trying to become an entrepreneur, or what is the kind of design you're trying to do. It all depends on that. I personally have created a bootcamp called as Uncomplicated Designing Bootcamp. You will find the link below the description. If you're interested, you can go ahead and enroll into it for free as of now. I am planning to make it paid very soon. Not expensive, it's going to be affordable for all. I'm making it paid because I want to put a value to it. What I've realized is a lot of people are enrolling into the program and they are not completing the program. So if I put a value onto it, there is a possibility that more people will complete the program, and I will be happy that they have completed and it's got and they have learned something very, very useful on uncomplicated designing. So that's about it. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I would appreciate it a lot and it would be amazing. And also use the comments and let me know what you think about this video. I would like to know what you feel and whether you found it useful. Okay, all right, that's about it. This is Santosh here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really value your time and you are important to me. Okay, have a great day. This is Santosh here. Bye.